Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. And I want to say double honors to the apostles and the others, great millstone that rule well. And blessings to the hopeful elect out there listening and learning and teaching this word in sincerity and truth, in the sincere hopes that we may edify and feed the lambs of Yahweh Shai, especially in these last days. And so, I don't know if you've seen it. You should have seen it already by now, but word on the street is pretty much over here in the UK. The Prime Minister Keir Starmer has now come out and addressed the nation that he wants to pretty much make digital IDs mandatory. All right, and pretty much we've been telling you that this is exactly the route that they were heading in terms of this draconian measure. As you can see all over the news, 4 hours ago, 22 hours ago, 7 hours ago, 3 hours ago, right? As it happened, Starmer says people will not be able to work in the UK without digital ID. New digital ID scheme to be rolled out across the UK 7 hours ago. The pros and the cons of digital IDs, and do we need them? Now you got this petition that's being started. Apparently there's 1 million people that's already signed this petition against the rolling out of digital IDs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up with the scripture, because we've been telling you already that they're going to do this for a reason, and they're going to be able to push it, through the chaos that they've been stirring up in these major cities, especially with this immigration so-called crisis. Now they spun that out of control in order to gain attraction and the justification to be able to push more of a reason for them to, further invade your so-called privacy. All right. And ultimately, this man, when I say this man, I'm talking about the wicked that the Bible speaks of. The scriptures tell you that the earth has been given into their hand. Job 9:24. And what they want to do is they want to play the Most High. Okay. They want people, they don't want to just stop with digital IDs. They actually want, that technology to be a part of you, to be inside of you, all right, so they can monitor everything that you do. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? And the wicked, all right, if you know a precept to find out who the wicked is to go to Malachi 1:4, all right, that outlines clearly, biblically, who the wicked are, and that's the nation of Esau, Edom, who are currently in rulership today. See, we're coming to a time now where the great persecution is about to happen, the hour of temptation is about to happen. But in that time, we are in a very exciting time. Just like my man said in The Matrix, Tank, he said it's a very exciting time, because it's a very exciting time. We got a lot to do. Let's get to it. And we got a lot to do. First of all, we got to cry aloud and spare not. We got to warn our people. Ezekiel 3:17 should come to mind. Scriptures like that should come to mind, because we're supposed to be the watchmen, doing the job of a watchman, and letting you know the times that we're in. This is Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? All right, so what you're witnessing now is the kingdom of the wicked, all right, and their wicked plans and their wicked schemes and plots to push out draconian measures in response to the chaos that they've actually provided the people with, or presented to the people. All right, because there's a term, again, the capitalist conspiracy, I believe the video is still up on YouTube, floating around, by G. Edward Griffin, I believe. Elder Apostle Gabar always goes into this, and how they have something called problem, reaction, solution. And that was outlined in that video, that documentary, if you will. And pretty much how they have the problem. They present the problem to the people, all right, but then conveniently they also have the solution, which brings me to my next precept in 2 Corinthians chapter 2. And I was holding this earlier, but I wanted to go to Job 9:24 first. It says, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, and you best believe that this is just another device that Satan, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, is pushing out, all right, to further, man, I'm just looking at this brick guard here, all right, and it's funny because they got the name James there. All right, which is a biblical name. Okay. Which goes back to Jacob, which goes back to supplanter. That's deep. That's spiritual right there. Oh my goodness. That's and they got a Jake up there as well as the face of the brick card. So this is what I'm saying. Like they actually and this is on Sky News, man. This is news.sky.com, right? It says the pros and the cons of digital IDs and do we need them? It says a sweeping shake-up of how the government handles our data could potentially address many of the problems of the current system. But whether number 10 can achieve its goals is another matter entirely. And this was put up, yesterday, Thursday, 25th of September, so-called 2025, so-called. All right. And look at this. They want to put an end to this gig work and, people using other people's accounts for Just Eat and so on and so forth. These immigrants that are working illegally in the country, they're saying that, look, we've got to put a stop to this. We don't know who's who. All right. So here you got this guy, James Williams, right? He's got right to work. He's ticked off, right? Right to rent, permanent. Like he's got the right to live. He's got the right to work here, right? He's an upstanding citizen of society. All right. As they're presenting it to the people. It says fans of the digital ID cards argue that they will speed the UK into a digital future, right? Speed the UK into a digital future. Now, you know what the scripture says about Revelation 12, right? Revelation 12 and 12, right? What does it say? Let's get it. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right? He knows that he has a short time. So they're trying to really, speed this up. And ultimately the Most High is speeding time up anyway. Okay, the scriptures speak about the days being shortened. Was that Matthew 24? I believe it's in Matthew chapter 24, verse 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So the Most High is clearly speeding up the time. All right, and not only that, these elites, they see the prophets out there prophesying, doing the job of a watchman, which is the Lord has put the spirit on those men to do. All right, to go out there on the highways and the byways as they cry aloud and spare not, as they lift up their voices like a trumpet, and they actually warn you about things that the Lord told us what we should be doing and what we should not be doing. All right, and taking the RFID chip, because that's what this is going to lead to. Or, the over here in Europe, they call it the NFC, near field communication. All right, but that chip is the mark of the beast. All right, and that chip is a major prophecy that we're waiting for. And it's just around the corner. All right, because remember, if the tensions with World War III, right, the war drums are sounding even louder. Remember, before war kicks off, that chip's got to get pushed first. That's how you know that we're close. The scriptures tell us in Romans 13 and 11 that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. So this is, come on, man, they're trying to speed, right, the digital IDs, right, the ID cards, speeding the UK into a digital future, man. Giving everyone a way to prove who they are. So you got to prove who you are. You got to prove that you have the right to rent, the right to work in the UK. Now they're using this immigration crisis as a means to do that. That's why I brought out the 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Right, and this is going to cause more divisions. Of course, this is going to cause more divisions. You're going to have people, they're saying 1 million people have already signed a petition against it. Right, because they know that they can see that these measures that they're taking are draconian. Now, the word draconian means excessively harsh and severe. It doesn't matter whether you vote for Labour, we told you this, or whether you vote for Conservative, right? It's two horns of the same beast. The scriptures speak about the two-party system in Revelation 13, the two horns like a lamb that spake as a dragon. Now, they come to you in these, like wolves in sheep's clothing. They come to you in these suits and that and whatever, right? And the scripture says, when a rich man speaketh, right? They come to you like this, looking longingly into the cloud, into the crowd, addressing the nation, global progress, yeah? right? The scriptures speak about the words of his mouth being smoother than butter, but war is in their heart. You can't trust these devils, these slick, slimy devils. And this is the message that we're going to keep coming with, man. All right? They are the wicked, and this is their kingdom. And this is what they want to push. They want people chipped, ultimately. Okay? This new digital ID scheme. Right? And like I said, this is going to cause more uproar to the people, which, again, is prophesied in 2 Ezra 9. Right? The earthquakes and the uproars of the people. These are signs of the Lord's return. This is what's confusing about this argument is that we can do that already. We have physical ID cards in the form of passports and driving licenses. We also have extensive system of digital identification and a whole range of law. Exactly. Right? You got driving licenses. You got shit. They've got chips in passports. Right? That they can scan on computers and bring it up on a database. Now, all of a sudden, they need to go further and introduce digital IDs, which we know that the digital IDs is just a platform that they're using to catapult them into the next phase, which is for people to be chipped. So what they're doing is they're getting you used to merging with the internet, all right, getting you used to giving up your personal identification, right, to these governing bodies, which they're going to use to track people, all right. And you ain't going to, you ain't going to be able to get, paid cash in hand no more, because they phased out cash off the back of the C19, right, the CV19, if you know what I'm talking about. They phased out cash, and most of these stores, most of these businesses got hit financially. Mums and pops businesses got hit. Hey, stores are closing, right? Now you go into certain, places to eat and whatever. They don't even accept cash at all. They got kiosks. They got AI. You got to order from the machine, and then you might have 1 or 2 people in the actual restaurant serving you the food. All right. Even if you go to a supermarket, it's the same thing. You got kiosks. You got like 7 to 10 kiosks lined up at the back of the shop, and you go there. You scan your own items. And you might have one person behind the till and she's trying to manage it. And you got certain people that want to get served by an actual human, that by a person, right? So you see the queue for the line to actually be served and have like human person-to-person interaction, right? Is always longer than the ones in the self-checkout, because the self-checkout, people are just so used to interacting with machines now. All right, and they're doing this by design, okay? Okay, because they're really trying to phase out you interacting with people anyway, when you go to buy and sell things, because it's all going to be digital. All right, and this is what they're showing you. That's why they introduce these Amazon Fresh stores or Amazon Go, whatever you call it, where you can go in and whatever you take off the shelf, it comes directly out of your account. Right? You got vending machines that you go to that as soon as you scan your card on it, it's contactless. You scan your card, and whatever you take out of the fridge, which unlocks when you scan your card with the technology that's in your phone, linked to your bank account, it opens the fridge, and then whatever you take out of that fridge, that the price of that drink or whatever directly subtracts from your bank account. So they got everything centralized, man. But they need that icing on the cake, which is the chip. Right? It says if you've employed it says, we also have extensive system of digital identification, a whole range of laws that require you to prove your identity, sometimes multiple times a week. It says, if you've employed someone recently, even for a few days, you'll know that you have to check their right to work documents, either physically or digitally. It's the same if you open a bank account, hire a solicitor, file a tax return, vote in an election, or apply to get a government services like universal credit. These days, even accessing pornographic content online requires an identity check. The trouble from a government point of view is that none of these systems are joined together, which makes it possible to slip through the gap. So now they're saying it's too chaotic, right? We need one system, right? We need that unification, that one system, right? To bring it all together, one ring to rule them all. Like that Lord of the Rings movie, like one chip, right? To pretty much introduce into your body, right? Which is going to link you like the internet of bodies. They're going to put you on the grid, basically. You are part of the grid. And if you don't get it, right, then pretty much you're going to become an enemy of the state. It says, despite all checks, right, for instance, illegal immigrants regularly get access to bank accounts. The Home Office is meant to share its data with banks and building societies to stop this happening. But the information is often incomplete or just plain wrong. That's why that's why the system had to be paused for 4 years after the Windrush scandal came to light. All right, so they're pushing, look, all this chaos, we need more order. All right, I got a scripture. This is, let me go ahead and get Psalms 37:7. All right, because we know what this devil's trying to do. Ultimately, man, he's trying to push out that chip. It says, rest in the Lord, Yahweh, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man that bringeth wicked devices to pass. Right? So we ain't supposed to fret, man. We just got to be still. Right? We got to rest in the Lord. Like the scripture says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe, man. We know what they ultimately want to do. The scriptures tell you about the MOTB, right? The major prophecy that we're waiting for, the mark of the beast. All right? To introduce you to the internet of things, internet of bodies. It says Revelation 13:16, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. They're already talking about compulsory methods, mandatory methods, right? They're already laying down draconian measures, right, to the public and telling you that this is what they want to do, whether you like it or not. And you got people out there in an uproar signing petitions. Man, how many times do these people go out there and they protest and nothing ain't going to change? Like, look at what's going on over there in the so-called Middle East, right? All them slaughtered Palestinians and that and whatever. People are still out there. They're tearing up. They're looting. Ain't nothing changing. Ain't nothing changing. Because really, hey, these elites, they want to do what they want to do regardless. And you can't stop them. All right. And if you really want to take it to another level of violence, then guess what? Then they're going to have a green light. They're going to have a reason, right, to send more troops, more boots on the ground, martial law, institute curfews in these cities, right? Like the scripture says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. These things are coming. V for Vendetta type of shit, right? These predictive programming that they put in these movies and these shows, they're letting you know that they want to lock the grid down. They want people locked down. Right? They introduced a term called lockdown during the C-19, where you couldn't go from one city to another. Right? Now, in order to stop people from spreading the pandemic and all that and whatever, they need to know where you are. Right? So that you don't slip through the gaps. This is what they're saying. It's not convenient enough. It's not efficient enough for them to have, these systems that they currently have in place. So they need to turn it up a notch. They need digital IDs. And then guess what? It's going to be, come on, you're going to have scammers out there. And that's one of the worries that one of the people on the panel that I was watching on the BBC, one guy raised his hand and was asking the panel, or these politicians, about this digital ID and what's it going to really achieve? All right. And what about cybercrime and how people can create fake apps and scam people for thousands, millions, destroy businesses, destroy livelihoods, families. Right? So these scams are going to start taking place as well. People are going to start, and when these things start happening, that's when you're going to really see people's backs against the wall. And they're going to beat these people to within an inch of their lives mentally. All right? To the point where they're just going to be begging for the chip. All right? We can see it happen. Right? It says, and we've been saying that these things they're going to use this whole immigration thing for them to push out digital IDs. We've been telling you these things. The next stop is for them to push that chip, the microchip, and it's not far away. Look how quick, and it shows you how quick they can do it, right? You wake up one morning and boom, it's mandatory, boom, an announcement's made, boom. The prime minister has now, and this is not long after Trump was just over here talking about pumping money, billions into new tech over here in the UK. Trump was just over here. He just left, right? He was just over here having a banquet with the king and that, with the royal family and all of that. And he stood side by side with Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, and announced that they were going to pump billions into AI technology. All right. And now all of a sudden, surprise, surprise, right? While you're worrying about the next best show to watch and you flicking through Netflix and that or whatever, they're pushing this in front of your face. Okay. That's why we got to be circumspect. The scriptures tell you that in Ephesians 5:15. It says, and free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right? That chip, that physical chip, the RFID chip, to receive in your hand, your forehead, right? The implant, the brain chip implants, where they'll be able to even upload thoughts into your brain, make you do things that you don't want to do. So then ask yourself this question, once you have that installed in you, is there any point in even living? Because you ain't even going to be able in control of your own body. And this is why they're trying to play the Most High. That's too much power. that they're giving to, you know, too much power in the hands of the wicked, man. Okay, so the difference is when we get spiritual power on the right-hand side, see, he's using that technology that the Lord gave him on the left-hand side to do wickedness, right? But when we get power on the right-hand side, we're going to use it for righteousness, man. We're going to be able to come down on anyone, any nation, right, that don't abide by the ways of righteousness in the kingdom. We will come down hot and heavy on them. Like the Sentinels from fucking X-Men. You best believe it. It says that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you ain't going to be able to make any form of transaction unless you get this chip. All right. So this ain't no joke, man. All right. This is what they're pushing. They're going for it, man. We're at the end. This is it. What are digital ID cards? How will they work? And how will they be made mandatory? It's all over the news. Out of nowhere. Look at this. Right? It's all over the news, man. The IDs will not have to be carried day to day, but they will be compulsory for anyone wanting to work. Oh, I need to feed my family. Oh, I had to get the ID because I need to work. Look, man, they're really going to start attacking you now. They're moving down with that great wrath, right? Starmer says people will not be able to work without the digital ID. Tony Blair has been pushing this for years, right? But now, gradually, they've started phasing it in through draconian measures, right? And they've got the justification for it now with all of this chaos with the border control and that. People coming over on boats and so on and so forth. So listen, man, we've been telling you, man, hey, watch this devil, watch the wicked. Keep your eyes on it, man. Keep your eyes open because things are definitely moving, right? It says the digital IDs will be used to prove a person's right to live and work in the UK. They will take, and you know, they're going to start at, see, this is what they're saying. They're starting saying that it's just for that purpose. But guess what? That can be used for all sorts, right, of governmental control, all right, across the board, right? All of your privacy, all of your rights will be invaded now, okay? You'll be able to link it to your bank account, be able to link it to this, be able to link it to that. Your address is on there. It's all centralized. Your driver's license is on there, all in one system. And that's what they want to do. They want to bring it together. And furthermore, they want to put that inside of your body so that you can never, ever escape, right? Because right now they're saying it's going to be on the phones. But they want to put that technology that's on the phone inside of you. So you will never be able to escape, right? Your digital footprint will always be live on that grid. Internet of bodies, man. All right. It says they will take the form of an app-based system stored on smartphones in a similar way to the NHS app or digital bank cards. Information on the holder's residency, status, name, date of birth, nationality, and a photo will be included, right? So where you live, your name, your date of birth, your nationality, and a photo will all. And everyone walks down with a smartphone nowadays. So now you kind of say, I don't even want a smartphone. Yeah, I'm okay. You don't want a smartphone. Okay, you can't work. You need a smartphone. Just like my man Valentine, he did the speech over there in that movie Kinsman. Right? And he was giving out free SIM cards to everyone. And they had like 3 minutes. Guess what? Everyone needs a phone to be able to be on that grid. Okay? If you watch that movie Kinsman with Samuel L. Jackson. Kingsman. Oh, if I type in Valentine SIM card. Right, this movie, yeah. Right, and he was doing a speech and giving out these SIM cards, and pretty much here we go. This is it. I think what's this? A GIF. Right, every man, woman, and child can claim a free SIM card. This is the movie. And what did they do with these SIM cards? They released a signal, right, from these. Connected to these SIM cards, and it made everyone go buck wild. All right, well that's predictive programming. They're telling you that there's gonna come a time, right, where there's gonna be complete anarchy in them streets, man. People, like the scripture says, one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. It's gonna be pure. It's gonna be pure and utter chaos. Look, and this is what I'm saying. You know, the free calls. When a rich man speaketh, they look and they see what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But when a poor man speak, they will say, what fella is this? And that was the bunker that they went in after all the chaos was unleashed on the surface. All right, they had these billionaire bunkers, and they went under there, and they hid themselves from the chaos. So this is, look, man, they've been telling you that this is what they want to do. They're gonna, and anyone that doesn't want to fall in line, they got them concentration camps, right? They're gonna be like madmen sparing none, 2 Ezra 16 and 70, right? They're gonna be rolling on people, man. It's gonna be on. All right, so we're in very exciting times indeed, and Lord willing, man, I'm gonna do lessons on this. And keep your eyes on what's going on over here in the UK right now. I'm over here in the UK. This is where we're at. And they want to make this shit mandatory. It's going to have everything on it. Where you live, where you work, your right to work, your residency status, all of that. Your bank account, your driver. It's all going to be linked into one system. All right? We're here now, man. So, hey, the hour of temptation is coming soon. All right? Especially when they push that chip. They're moving quick because they know that they have a short time. Shalom to the elect.